Whack 'em and stack 'em.
What's up, everybody? Doing something a little bit different tonight. What is up, everybody? So, fixing to go out, see if I can catch some more white bass. This is my third attempt at doing this video. So my daughter and I went out 2 nights ago and planned on doing this video with her, and realized pretty quickly that her casting and reeling in fish and me trying to film just didn't work. So I just helped her catch a bunch of fish and got some footage, but it wasn't great. I haven't done a whole lot of filming at night, so the footage that I got was real dark and blurry. It was just real tough to work with. So I came back last night, went back out again, absolutely slayed the white bass. And when I got up this morning and sat down to edit this video, I realized that I had screwed up. I had a microphone problem, didn't have any audio in any of the footage. So I'm going back for round 3 to see if I can catch some white bass here at night. I'm hoping we'll slay them again tonight. Last night I was catching a fish on every single cast. Good magnum sized white bass. So I'm going to get the boat launched, get out there, and we'll get started. Another bite. There we go. That's a better fish right there. That is what we're looking for. Good white bass there. The kids have one back here. I'm not sure exactly what else is going on. It's lots of pushing and giggling and no, you go that way.
Ava tried to throw me in the lake.
There we go. There's one. This is a little bit better fish, it feels like. Yeah. There we go. Another good sized white bass there. There we go. Hit my spot lock here and just move us just a little bit. I'm just pulling up and spot locking on these docks. You have to stay far away from them. If you get too in close to them, there's a bite right there. Missed it. Oh, no, it's on. Oh, it's a good fish right there. Lane's got one on too back there in the back of the boat. He's releasing all his right at the side of the boat. This is a good fish here. That's a good white bass right there. It's a lot of fun. And I'm just nosing into the wind, and then I spot lock out away from these docks. Lane's got another one on back there. And continuing to cover these docks and really being thorough when you fish them. Our water is a little bit high right now. It's about 4 inches over pool on this lake that I'm fishing. And I ideally like the water to be a little bit low when I'm fishing like this. If the water's down 2 or 3 feet low, it really makes this fishing a whole lot better because you can really get up underneath these docks, and usually we'll catch more fish up underneath them than you will here outside. But with the water as high as it is right now, there's not very many docks that you can get these baits up underneath. But regardless of water level, there we go, there's another one. Regardless of water level, you want to be really thorough fishing these docks and make sure you cover all around them. Cast up in the lights, cast, that's a good fish there too. Cast around the outside edges, get up as close to them as you can, and really be thorough. Kids have got one on back here too. Another good one. Did you catch that?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Lane did?
Yeah.
But be real thorough and make sure you really cover this water good, because a lot of these people will pull in. I've been watching a lot of these other boats. I saw a boat fishing right here just a few minutes ago. They pulled in, they made about 4 or 5 casts and they left. And we pulled in right behind them. There we go, there's another one. We pulled in right behind them and immediately started catching fish. So they either weren't throwing the right lure or they weren't casting in the right place. This one's not wanting to come into the boat. Awful feisty. It's another good one right there. I'm just throwing, this is a little Johnson minnow spin here. Just a little inline spinner. These are real inexpensive. I buy them 50 and 100 at a time in white and silver. And this is my go-to lure for fishing this way because they cast really well. And there we go, there's another one. They cast really well and they're really inexpensive. You can get them for about $1, $1.25 at Walmart. And little 1/4 ounce Johnson minnow spin. It's MINOSPIN, and they last forever. They're real durable. And one of the great things about these that's different than a lot of the other little inline spinners that are out there is these don't hang up as bad as a lot of the other ones do. Well, that hook's way down deep. These don't hang up nearly as bad as a lot of the other ones do. And that's another reason that I prefer them. They come in all different sizes and colors, but the 1/4 ounce, white and silver, I pretty much found if they're not going to hit these, they're not going to hit anything when you're fishing for white bass. You'll catch white bass and yellow bass on them all night long. Usually silver or white, either one, doesn't matter which. When you fish these docks like this, you have to kind of experiment with what you're doing. And I'll throw them out there and burn them through, just reel as fast as I can, which basically is going to carry it across the top of the water or the upper part of the water column. Then I'll throw it out and I'll count to about 3 and I'll reel it in a little fast, do the same thing, reel it in a little slower. Then I'll count to, there we go, there's another one. Then I'll count to 5, came off. Missing a lot of fish. This hook may be bad. I need to check it real quick. No, it looks like it's still good. But just experiment with you know, how you're fishing and where you're pulling it through the water column, because sometimes letting it sink a little bit, there we go, there's another one, or varying that retrieve makes all the difference in the world. You may throw it out there and reel it in too fast and you won't get bit, but once you find that little sweet spot on each dock, you'll usually catch a fish on every cast. Kids have got another one on back there. Here's another good one here. We're whacking them, man. Whack them and stack them. There we go. Another good white bass there. The kids have got one on back here.
catch that one?
Yeah. So this time of year, we've still got some white bass up in our creeks, but for the most part, the run is pretty much over with. The fish that are still in the creeks are just kind of stragglers right now. So they've moved off onto the main lake, and they're hungry. You know, they're feeding heavily, and they're making up for that weight that they've lost during the spawn. And it's very, very easy usually there's another bite, fish on, to find them up around these lights, around these boat docks at night. You can catch them during the day, but right now the water here is really muddy, and the fish have been a little difficult to catch during the day. You can find them, get out there and find real good stacks of them, but they're tough to catch because the visibility is just so low. But the difference being out here at night around these lights makes a big difference in being able to catch fish in this stained or muddy water. Another good white bass there. But that's part of the reason you want to make sure you got something with some silver or white on it, something that's going to flash and make a little bit of vibration going through the water when this water's real stained, and it helps the fish to see them at night. You can catch fish like this with rattle traps or war pigs, different kinds of lipless crankbaits. But again, you know, all the years I've been doing this, I've been catching fish like this a long time. These little inline spinners, these Johnson minnow spins, are hands down my go-to bait. I've caught more fish on these, and they're cheap. Rather than throwing a $5 or $6 rattle trap or a Berkeley war pig up around these docks, you know, these are, like I said, $1.25, $1 a piece, and you're going to lose tackle because you're throwing up around these boat docks. There's another bite right there. I've hit twice, but it didn't bite very hard. You're going to lose a lot of tackle fishing this way because you're casting up around these docks at night. I don't ever go up on a dock in the dark to pull a lure off of it unless it's somebody that I know and they know that I'm out there. But like right here, I would, oh man, that's a good pull right there. I would never go up to this dock and try to pull a lure off of it because I just don't want people to think that I'm, you know, up there messing with their stuff or going to take something or whatever, being out here in the dark. That's another good one there. It's a lot of fun, man, a lot of fun. So what I'm finding here, there we go, there's another one. What I'm finding here on this dock is every time I cast, if I just immediately start reeling it in, I don't get bit. But when I cast out there and I count to about 3 or 4 and then start a real slow retrieve, I get bit almost every time. So what I'm doing is throwing out past the light all the way over on the other side, and I'm counting to 3 or 4, and then I'm starting a real slow retrieve. And every time I come through the edge of that light, I'm getting bit. There's another bite right there. There, nope, I missed it. A lot of times these little bitty bites, these bites are kind of hard to feel. It almost feels like you're just kind of like tearing through cardboard. And a lot of times these little bitty bites are going to be smaller white bass. There we go, there's a good one. Smaller white bass or yellow bass. Like that yellow bass I caught earlier. We're just overrun with yellow bass on a lot of these lakes here. And they're just kind of trash fish, more of a nuisance and everything. They don't get very big. It's another good one there. Another real good fish. There we go. See that fish? It's a little cut up right there. Coming off that spawn, it's not uncommon for them to be beat up like that. I don't know how many we've pulled off this dock, but it's been a lot. We're catching a fish on every cast. Kids have got one on back there again. Kind of hard to see back there in the dark, but they've got another one. Another good fish there, flopping around on the floor. She's gonna knock you out here in a minute. Lane's trying to slap her in the face with a fish. She's gonna rear up and knock him out in the back of the boat here in a minute. 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. There's another one. One after another after another. If you want to get out, you want to catch a bunch of fish, man, this is the way to do it. It's one of many ways. There's lots of different ways to catch fish at night. Sometimes this is the best way to go this time of year. There we go. Here's another one. There we go. Right when it got to the edge of the light. So this is a great way to catch white bass. Super simple, very effective technique. Doesn't require a bunch of fancy equipment, sonar, expensive rods and reels or anything. The rod that I'm using in this video is a Abu Garcia Veritas 7-foot medium heavy casting rod, and it's just a graphite rod. You can get similar rods like that pretty much anywhere. The Abu Garcia Veritas is a great rod as well, like the one I use. And then I'm using a Abu Garcia Silver Max low profile bait cast reel. Again, not expensive. One of the lower end models of the low profile bait cast reels from Abu Garcia. That's what I typically use for fishing for white bass like this. Don't have to have anything real fancy or super expensive. And as you can probably see in this video, I get some pretty amazing casting distance from just these lower end, low profile bait cast reels. They're really good quality products. I want to show you a few example docks to give you a better idea what kind of the areas look like that I'm fishing. But I realized once I got to editing this footage that the docks didn't show up great on the chest mounted camera that I was using. So what I'm looking for with these docks is bright lights. Usually the closer to the water they are, the better the fishing it is. You want kind of a concentrated light source on the water. That's not always true. Sometimes when you have these docks that have more of a faint light, you'll find fish underneath them. But general rule, the brighter the light, the more concentrated it is on the water, and the more light there is on the water, the better these white bass are going to be concentrated around these docks. Again, fish them thorough, really vary the retrieve, vary the depth, cover all the water, and if you get out there, I promise you can catch fish this way. Again, super simple, just throwing that little Johnson minnow spin, 1/4 ounce, silver or white lure. Super easy fishing. I probably had 3.5, 4 hours of just non-stop fishing action, literally with a fish or a bite on every single cast. I could have just taken this footage in bulk and it would have been 3.5, 4 hours of action-packed video, but I was just really trying to narrow this down to some action and just jam-packed with tips on how to use these techniques. So do me a quick favor, since you've watched this video to the end. I want you to do two things for me. One, is leave a comment down below. Let me know if you like these white bass fishing videos and other species fishing that aren't catfish related. 99% of what I do here on this channel has been catfish in the past. Sometimes the stuff that I've done for other species just hadn't gone over real well, hadn't gotten a lot of views. So it's not something I'm going to switch to, but something I kind of like to mix in every now and then because I do fish for other species of fish than catfish from time to time, but catfishing is what I do the vast majority of the time. So go down below, let me know if you like these videos on other species. I also want you to do one other thing in the comments. I'm looking for some stories. If you have a fishing story that is 100% true, something that's happened to you while fishing that's 100% true that most people wouldn't believe, go down below and tell me what that is in the comments. Tell me that story. Little project I'm working on. I'd love to hear from you and know what that story is. Again, 100% true, but something that most people wouldn't believe happened. Go down below in the comments. Let me know. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. And I'll be back next week with some catfish action out on the water. We actually filmed this morning. We came home after catching these white bass, slept for about 2.5 hours, loaded back up, went back out, caught some catfish. So we've got some catfish action coming at you next week.